2 has entered the podcast.
Welcome back, people, to Player 2 has entered the podcast. That podcast about video games, nerd stuff, and friends catching up for the week. I am your co-host, Michael, aka MC Paperstacks, and this week we have a very special first-time guest, long-time friend, AudioNerd64 from Gamer Friends. Boop, 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 boop.
What up?
Yeah.
Very special. That makes me feel so good.
So special.
Thank you.
You don't mind if I call you Cedric, aka AudioNerd64?
Oh, my! You gonna use my government name for the? Is that allowed in gamer world?
I mean, we do it, but I can always edit this part out. We don't have to use your name at all. We can keep it audio.
We go back and forth on ours too. It's totally fine. I'm kidding.
I noticed, but I was like, I don't want to presume anything. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great. I'm ecstatic. I am so happy that I had a friend like you to help me in my time of need. This week, it's been rough. Derek is out again, unfortunately, and he'll be back to explain mitigating circumstances. You know how it goes. We had a guest. The guest had to drop out. They had some family trouble, and I was just, I was like, I might be going solo dolo today, but here you are.
Here I am.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I don't know if I could do a solo podcast. That's an endeavor.
I tried it once.
Good for you for finding me. Oh, how did it go?
It was lonely and sad. I got a few episodes in, and unfortunately, podcasting wasn't as popular when I originally tried it. This was probably like 6-8 years ago, maybe. And
oh yeah.
I was trying it on SoundCloud, but you could only go so long and so many episodes before they would like need to charge you, or you'd have to pay them money. Like there wasn't free platforms like you have now. Like I'm on Anchor right now, and they just blast it out to everywhere. So that's really cool. So there was the pressure of that, and then like you said, just talking by yourself, and
it's so weird.
It's a different vibe. It's not impossible, but it's definitely a different vibe. And I wanted to make a show that I wanted to hear, and I like it more when the hosts are friends and they have fun together and they're really passionate about what they're talking about. So that's the show that I try to make. And you were one of the people at the top of my list. Like if I got to get a emergency co-host, I got to get AudioNerd64.
Aw.
Yeah, I actually reached out to you and Jordan, and I went to Jordan because he seems to be like on the Discord more often. And I was like,
That's true.
I was like, can you or Cedric, can you guys hop on, one of you? And he was like, yeah, we'll get Cedric over there. I was like, yes. So I really, really, like, if I haven't said it enough, thank you so much for going on this journey with us today.
Absolutely.
All right.
Oh, I'm touched.
All right. Well, speaking of going on a journey, this last week has been a journey in that we've did things and experienced things. And I wanted to ask you, how was your week? How are things going for you lately, Cedric?
It's a pretty good week. Can't complain too much. Starting to dust the cobwebs off of my adult human form and getting through, work and life as a normal human being again. I feel like it took a little bit longer after the winter break to function again, but here we are. So I can't complain. It's a pretty fine week. It's fine,
Yeah, it can be a bit of an adjustment. So I 100% understand that. I got some weird news this week myself. I got an email randomly congratulating me on my 6-year anniversary as a legally ordained minister.
Now, that is exciting. I actually am also a legally ordained minister.
Oh my goodness.
Did you do it to... Yes. Did you do it to marry a friend?
I did.
Is that what
I did.
That's beautiful.
I did it to marry my cousin, actually. Not in a Rudy Giuliani way.
Oh.
But he had his wife, and the two of them, I officiated. So...
Right.
So I guess it's actually my cousin's 6-year anniversary coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, you gotta send him a card or something.
Happy anniversary, buddy. But yeah, no,
that's awesome.
I did that, and I was really honored to be asked. I thought it was a little odd because I'm definitely one of the least religious people that I know, but I guess it's more about the ceremony and family and whatnot. How did yours go?
It was really good. Let's see, it was back in October. A couple of friends. Oh my God, old friends. From
it was
my
recently.
First apartment. Okay. Yeah, it was very recent. My first folks that I met in Brooklyn, in my Brooklyn apartment in Bed-Stuy. Mm-hmm. Ooh, so I've known. Oh my God, it's been I guess maybe 5 years I've known them. But yeah, no, they did a very cute, very small ceremony at the Brooklyn Bridge Park. actually co-officiated with another good friend of mine. And it was great because I was like, also like, oh my God, COVID. And they were like, oh, it's outside. And I was like, oh, that's great.
COVID sucks.
Yeah. But it was nice. I was also very honored. I like freaked out an hour before the ceremony because I was like, this is so, why did they let me do this? You know? But no, it was cute. It was very cute. And now I can legally marry people anywhere, specifically also in New York City. They have like a whole separate thing I had to do for that. But
okay.
Yeah. That's so funny that we are both
ordained ministers. Yeah, hey, listen, guys, if you're out there and you want to get married, I mean, we're free. We're available. You know? We'll help you out. It's got to be outside, though. COVID.
Or Zoom. Yeah. I'll do a Zoom wedding.
I'll do a Zoom wedding. Fine. That sounds fun. Sort of. Maybe.
Fax me over the papers.
Play some Jackbox afterwards, you know?
There you go.
That'll be the Jackbox reception. Oh, my God. Listen, I know that you're going to be getting married not too long from now. Congratulations, by the way. And it may or may not be on Zoom, but if it's not, the reunion, like the redoing of the vows, that needs to be a Zoom thing, or have two weddings. The second wedding is a Zoom, and then we all play Jackbox at the reception.
I would be down for that. I would be down for that. Or just do it during the actual reception. Just get a big ass TV, set up the camera for everyone.
That would be wild.
I'm gonna have to think about that.
Yeah, all the cool kids would be like, "Is there any dancing?" Yeah, it's over there. This is the Jackbox section.
We're playing Jackbox over here. So calm down.
Yeah, speaking of celebrations, my son's 6th birthday is today, and
happy birthday!
Guy, he had such a great birthday too. And tomorrow's gonna be so good. Tomorrow we're having a family party just within our bubble, so us and the grandparents, because fucking COVID, man. But I got him some really cool like Lego Luigi's Mansion sets that we're gonna build, and he is obsessed.
I love how you're whispering.
I know, because like my son's upstairs, and I know he can't hear me, but I kind of feel like he can, and I don't want to ruin it. And I'm so excited to watch him open these. I'm gonna record it and put it up on TikTok. It's gonna be a whole thing. But we're gonna build them and have lots of fun, and I'm so excited. I really hope he likes them. But because of COVID, he was asking me, and I felt really bad. He was like, I wrote a letter to my friend in kindergarten, but I didn't send it to him. It basically said, do you want to come to my birthday party? And it was like his way of asking if he could have friends over. And it broke me. I was like, oh, buddy. I said, we're going to do a half birthday this summer.
Okay.
So in June, we're going to celebrate your birthday with all your friends, and it's going to be an outside thing. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
So that made him feel a little better. But I was like, for this one, it's indoors, buddy. It's just gonna be family. So
yeah, I can't even imagine trying to navigate this with kids. So like, hats off to anyone listening that is a parent of children during these trying times. It's wild.
Of various ages too, because I feel like I kind of got lucky because during the heaviest parts, he didn't really have to go to school. It was more like preschool age and. We did a lot of online stuff, and we were teaching them at home. But I was thinking about kids that are like in the thick of it. They're in middle school. They're in high school.
Oh, yeah.
Missing prom, missing graduation. Like, that sucks. It's really important to them. So, yeah, my heart doubly goes out as well to all the parents out there during the COVID times. But some good news. I'm a retro gamer, and I'm kind of a sucker when it comes to retro stuff. And I've been avoiding getting these because they're so simple. But that Nintendo Switch Online through their store, they've been selling Super Nintendo controllers for the Switch and Sega Genesis controllers. I got the N64 one already. I was lucky enough to get one of those. Thank you. But I actually just saw that they had the NES controllers on sale, and they were really cheap. It was like $34.99 for both of them. And I went and got those.
Like, let's say a little quieter.
NES controllers.
Do they drift as well?
Neat. They're neat. So far, the D-pad does not drift. Oh man,
you gotta watch out.
They're nice. I might thread a necklace through them. They drip.
Oh, okay now.
So, catching up. What games you been playing recently? This is a video game podcast. I don't know if you knew. We probably should talk about video games at one point.
Forgot, actually.
I forget often, to be honest, but we're good. I think we're only
That's fair.
10 minutes in, and we got to video games. We usually don't get video games to like 30 minutes in, so.
Okay.
But yeah, what you been playing lately, man?
I can't decide if I want to start with the game that I'm really excited about or the game that I'm not excited about. What's the vibe here? Good or bad?
Where does the passion lie? Are you more passionately hating one game or passionately loving the other? Save that for the main course.
Save that for the main course. Okay, so I am passionately into the game that I will explain second, but the first one, not so much. So,
okay,
the Anacrusis is on Game Pass. I think it's like technically in early access still. But the Anacrusis is basically like Left 4 Dead in 60s space, like little Jetsons action. Not as like vibey as that, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, Deathloop kind of gives me that vibe a little bit, like a little bit of 60s futurism. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This one is definitely more leaning in like the retro direction, just like with that how the characters are dressed and like the art style and how everything's laid out. And so there's like a joke about a conversation pit at some point. So it knows what it's doing. But the vibe is pretty cool. And yeah, it's in early access. I think one of the folks from the original Left 4 Dead team actually heads the studio that has made this, which makes sense.
Mm.
And it was not. I'll say this: it needs some work. It needs some polish. It needs, maybe a sprinkle of salt. Maybe to rework the ingredient levels. It's not good. It's like if Back 4 Blood wasn't good, is the way I would describe it.
Some would argue that Back 4 Blood isn't always 100% good, so that doesn't.
That too. And I feel bad because it's definitely it looks like it's a small studio and like it's still in early access, so hopefully they do what they have to do to fix it. But it's like a lot of weird things. Like you can't run. It's only like one speed for everyone, which is the same thing in Back 4 Blood, but you can like add the ability to run.
Mm-hmm.
So like maybe that might be a thing down the road. The gunplay is like okay. No, it's like one of those like we have a whole bunch of guns that you can use and like. None of them really have any actual tangible difference, so just whatever.
Yeah, I was going to say, you could definitely tell the difference with guns of Back 4 Blood, for sure. Like, I had my favorites.
Yes, absolutely. Love a Desert Eagle.
Mm-hmm.
This one, not so much. It just needs some work, and I hope they do the work. It seems like a lot of folks basically have, like, the same consensus. It's an early access, so I hope that they take all the advice and make it what it should be. Because it's like one of those, again, like Back 4 Blood is like fun and only a game that I would play if other people were like, hey, let's play some Back 4 Blood. Like I could totally see myself just playing this for shits and giggles. Just to, something that's like not Apex and something I could do with my friends. But yeah, no, it was not a great experience. It's just, I don't know how to, you've been there, right? You know that experience of like you're playing something that's like done by a small studio and it's in early access and it just like needs work.
But there's something redeeming about it that makes you want to root for it. And that sounds like that's the case here. I mean, for you, what pulled you in? Was it just the aesthetic, the style?
The aesthetic, for sure. I like the art style. I think like the music is cute. It definitely like kind of hits the 60s, 70s thing on the head, which I don't mind. It's just like something fun and a little bit different than like gritty, disgusting shit on the wall.
Yeah, brown gray shooter in the rubble.
Zombie.
I got
Yeah. Like I could use the zombie formula and different flavor. So it's like, all right, cool. But then it's also like you gotta have at least the same mechanics or like do them a little bit better, hopefully.
Yeah.
So it's all vibe, no bite. Say that.
Okay, fair enough.
So, which is, and I just said on our Game of the Year episode that I could do a vibe.
Yeah.
It's fine to have a vibe, but you gotta have,
Genesis Noir is definitely a vibe.
That's a vibe.
That's a vibe.
Dune is a vibe.
Dune's a vibe, baby.
But, they do everything else.
Yeah.
At a baseline. So, you gotta.
Yeah, there's a baseline that needs to be met, for sure.
So, look, other people have done it, so I'm sure they could do it too. So, I'm be happy to reinstall this one after they get their shit figured out.
Sounds good.
A game that I am excited about, which, funny enough, is also definitely a small studio, not a lot of bells and whistles kind of game, but the core gameplay mechanic is just so cute.
Mm-hmm.
and it just works so well that I don't care. You know, you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's Pupperazzi. Also, just came on Xbox Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass.
And
okay.
It's on Game Pass. And it's literally like, the download was like less than a gig.
Little tiny puppy game.
Little tiny puppy game. If all you do is you take pictures of puppies and then you post them on like a puppy social media thing and then people judge it. And there's like little objectives like, hey, take a picture of puppy in front of the lighthouse and take a picture of 2 puppies together. Take a picture of puppies playing with the stick that you threw. And it's like, it's fucking adorable. Super low fidelity. Like the puppies don't walk. They just like bounce around because they don't like their legs don't move. And you can pet them, and you can. There's like, I didn't get super far into it, but you know, there's like,
you can
you
pet
get
the
a little
dog.
stick, you can throw it. You can pet the dog. You can pet all the dogs, and they'll like chase you around and follow you around. It's so cute. It single-handedly cured my depression. I have no more mental health issues actually because of this game.
Wow.
High
praise.
Very powerful experience.
Those are some therapy dogs right there. I remember
Exactly.
seeing the trailer for this game back when we were like covering E3. It showed up in a few presentations, and I can almost see the art style that you're talking about, and it looked really competent and interesting. So I'm happy to hear that it's actually good. That's great.
Yeah, it's super simple, and the graphics are also like super simple. Sometimes it gets a little janky with just movement or whatever, which is like, I'm fine with a little jank, you know, if the core mechanic is good. You know, it's not complicated. You're just taking pictures of puppies, and, you know, but that's all I need. That's all I need. I could do a simple game.
Okay.
So yeah, Pupperazzi. I loved it. It's good. And it's, you know, just like one of these like silly games where I'm just like, oh, it's 11 o'clock. I'm like not tired enough to go to bed, but I'm like super baked. Am I allowed to say that on this podcast?
It's fine. I've talked at length about spicy gummies, is what we like to call them.
Okay, not spicy.
I said last week, I was like, Genesis Noir is the type of game you pop in some headphones, you take a spicy gummy, and you go on a journey.
You take maybe 2 spicy gummies for that one.
Woo, okay. I can't take too many. I'll go into the sunken place. I have very low tolerance for some reason, which is weird because I'm Irish. I can drink like a fish, but when it comes to that, like, I'm a lightweight for some reason.
That's fair. Shout out to the pandemic for upping my tolerance. We'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
But you know, like you're chilling, you're not really tired for bed, but you're a little baked. You know, just Pupperazzi. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Let's take some pictures of some fucking cute ass dogs.
Little baby puppy faces. Aw.
It definitely like scratches the itch of like Nintendogs, in which now I'm remembering those dogs definitely hate me.
Aw.
Well, because, you know, remember you played it as a kid, and like you know, if you haven't played for like a month, the dog wouldn't be there, and then you'd have to like wait 5 minutes for him to show up.
Yeah, no, I have a French bulldog named Bowser who is probably a skeleton by now.
Like, oh my god!
Yeah,
these poor digital dogs.
These poor digital dogs.
Floating around, bones and all in the metaverse. Sad.
They're like, but I learned how to catch for you. Oh, poor babies. Well, speaking of dead dogs, Death's Door. Yeah, like that segue, we went straight from death to death. That's what we did.
That's good. That's hey, it's solid.
Solid.
It's a solid segue.
Oh my god, sidebar though. Just recently, my son like perfectly executed a segue. Oh. I'm so impressed because usually 5-year-olds, they just kind of spew word salad at you from the time that they see you to the time that they go to do something else, and none of it really makes sense. But we were talking about like basketballs or like balloons or something, and he was like, speaking of balls, we were actually bowling in class today. And I was like, what?
Oh,
that's a segue, dude.
Give that boy a podcast. He's ready.
He's ready.
You know, honestly, we love that.
He's so passionate about Luigi's Mansion. I have contemplated possibly having him on as a mini guest just to rap Luigi's Mansion for like 10 minutes. Like, I don't know what the lid limit is for folks to listen to somebody else's cute kid, because obviously I think he's cuter than everybody else does because he's my kid. But I mean, he can really go on and on about Luigi's Mansion. He's deep into, like, I watch him watching videos, and he's not just watching gameplay anymore. He's watching dudes talk about like the development notes and the mined data, and I'm like, bro, you are getting into it way further than I ever did. He was like, Luigi's Mansion 4 is coming up. People think it's going to be on a train. I'm like, do they? So
you got a little gamer on your hands.
Yeah, pretty much, man, pretty much. But yeah, back to it. Death's Door. Okay. So Death's Door came out in 2021, I believe, and it just this past week dropped on Game Pass. And I'm so happy because I've been eyeballing it, but I wasn't really sure if I wanted to go and get it. And as I don't even have to explain to you, Game Pass has been keeping my play card pretty full. It's been keeping me busy.
It's starting to annoy me that every time that I have to talk about video games, I'm probably talking about Game Pass. It's a lot.
Just shilling for
so
Xbox.
Much. Really? And it's like, it's set. I'm like, but what else can I do? They're giving me these games.
They are. They're keeping me so busy. You know what I mean?
What else? I got to talk about it. I got to talk about all these games I'm playing because of Game Pass. Oh, boy.
No, I said it was if Sony ever does actually get the let out and release their own version, I'll never buy another physical game again, it sounds like, which is insane.
Maybe. But at this point,
man. But yeah,
Microsoft might take all the games first. But
right.
We'll get into that one later.
Yes, we will get to that one later. But yeah, Death's Door is an indie game about a little raven, and he's actually has the job, I guess, of death, but he's in this little guild. Like, you start off in this black and white area, and there's other ravens, and you get like an assignment to go get a soul. And so you have to go through this door, I guess, presumably into the real world, hunt down whatever your target is and take their soul. And then souls are used as, like, I guess, payment. Like, you clock in, you clock out, and you get your payment in souls or whatever. But the hook is once you open Death's Door, quote unquote, and go into the world, you become vulnerable and you age until you get the soul and complete the contract. Then they close your door, and then you're back to being immortal again.
Oh, okay.
So you go to fight the first, like, large enemy that has the soul you were assigned, and then someone bonks you on the head and takes it. Then you catch up to them. They're like, hey, I'm sorry I stole the thing. I wanted to open this big door, which is like the main death door, I guess, and you need a lot of souls to open it because I lost something in there and I need to get to it, but your soul didn't do it. So both of us need to open this now, because if you don't get your soul back, then you're going to be stuck here like me. Whoops. And you just kind of take it in stride. You don't attack them or anything. You're like, okay, cool. And so the bigger raven that bonked you on the head is like, okay, so there are 3 bosses in this area. If you go get their souls, I'm sure they will unlock this door. So off you go. And that's it. You go around kicking little jobbers' butts, solving simple puzzles, collecting souls to upgrade your stats, and then going after, like, a larger boss enemy in a particular area. Like, the first one I'm going after now is a witch lady that turns everybody's head into, like, a pot or a pan of some sort, or a vase.
Well, as one does.
As one does. I ran into a guy. It was funny. My son was with me, and he goes, "Who's that?" And I was like, "Pothead." And then it was like, "Pothead." I was like, "See, it is." And he has soup in his pot. He's like, "Do you want some soup?" And the raven was like, "Nah, I'm not drinking soup out of your face, bro."
That's fair. That's a fair.
It's a good call, right?
It's a good. I mean, especially in these times, it's COVID. You can't just be
drinking soup out of people's faces.
It's not social. You guess not. That's not safe.
It's not sanitary.
It's safe.
Not sanitary. Now, I've heard people compare the gameplay to Dark Souls. I think by virtue of the fact that it's like a requirement nowadays. If you're going to review a game, you have to compare it to Dark Souls. I think at this point, it is so ubiquitous to do that it's becoming a joke to joke about the joke that is comparing everything to Dark Souls. Just me pointing it out is cliche at this point. But all that to say, it's nothing like that. It's just an isometric action game. I'd compare it more to Hades, to be honest. There is a dodge button, there is an attack button. You have a ranged attack that you can gain ammo for by either hitting a destructible in the environment or an enemy. You have magic eventually you can get in the game, but I haven't unlocked any magic yet other than the ammo for my bow and arrow. And you can do heavy attacks as well. And then again, you can upgrade the strength of your attacks, the speed of your attacks, the speed of your character, or the power of the magic or the ranged attacks that you do. And that is through the souls that you receive. You receive very little souls from all, like, the regular jobber enemies that you defeat. The real way that you get currency to upgrade your character is by finding, like, larger soul orbs through environmental puzzles or by defeating large enemies and bosses.
Okay.
That's the gameplay loop. And it's fantastic. The music's great. The combat feels wonderful. It is nigh perfect. The only thing I don't like about the game so far, and I would say this is a nitpick, to be honest, Your action button to like pull levers, open doors, pick things up, read signs is Y. And for whatever reason, I have to press Y a few times in order for it to actually work every time. When I go to step on a ladder,
you have to return it.
I have to jam on Y to get up a ladder. I'm just
ask for the money back. Get a free month of Xbox Live. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, right. No. I'm gonna sell my Series X. That's how pissed off I am.
Just set it on fire.
I'm gonna take it out back and set it on fire. I'll get it on film. Show everybody I don't care. But no, it's actually really great. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah.
I definitely want to play more. But I've been really roped into the other game I've been playing, and this is the game I've been playing for the past few weeks, and that's Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Hell yeah.
I can't stop playing it. I've already beaten...
And now this is your first time playing the series, right?
No, not at all.
Oh, I am so sorry. I must be thinking of some other... I apologize.
Oh,
I apologize.
No problem at all. No, I am a veteran. I played Mass Effect 1 when it first came out on 360. Bought 2 on launch as well. I didn't buy 3 at launch because of all the rough stuff I heard about it, but I did eventually play and beat 3. I've read both of the novels written by Drew Capturin? Drew Capison?
There's novels?
They have novels, yeah. There is a novel
Wow.
that actually leads up to Mass Effect 1. Do you remember how Captain Anderson talks about how he and Saren actually had to do a mission together and he saw how Saren worked? That's novelized.
I am not a true fan. Which is funny because like I have a fucking Elcor plushie, Omniblade replica in here. I think I have a comic in here. And I didn't know about these novels. I'm disgusted with myself.
Genuine jealousy. You have an Elcor plushie. I also want one.
He's so cute. I got that one years ago. That's when I was really excited about Andromeda. And then Andromeda came out. So
we don't talk about Andromeda.
We don't talk about that. But the original trilogy, I think one of my favorite trilogies of all time. Actually, I think I even said at one point it was like one of the most influential in gaming just because of all the shit that went down with the ending for 3 and how, to my eyes, it was like one of the first times that really fans were like, what the fuck? Fix this shit. And they actually did, which is, I won't say a good or a bad thing. I will say it's influential. But man, I fucking love Mass Effect. So I'm so happy to hear that you're playing this remastered version, and I can't wait to hear you talk about it because I love it so much.
It's great. There are bugs here and there. With Mass Effect 1, there wasn't a ton of bugs. There was a really funny scene where Ashley's eyes like went cross-eyed when you first meet her on Eden Prime, which was hilarious. Got that on tape. And there was like little bugs where like their animations, they wouldn't know where to walk, so they'd just be like, just flash dancing behind you, waiting to like go somewhere, but nothing game breaking. And then with Mass Effect 2, there's a consistent glitch, but again, it doesn't break the game necessarily, but it is a little distracting, depending on how purist you are about your screen real estate. On the right side of the screen, there is constantly a line that's not supposed to be there, like the screen is expanded or like zoomed out too far or something. So like the right side of the screen just has kind of glitchy video or whatever. It's very thin, but you can see it, right? And it pops in and out depending on which scene you're looking at. And that's like persistent throughout the game.
Fuck.
Other than that, though, no weird animations. Like, it's definitely a lot more clean than Mass Effect 1, because Mass Effect 1 was definitely prone to animation bugs and glitches for sure. And then 2, like, I thought 1 felt pretty decent. I was talking about it before with another guest where I was saying they did a really good job of hiding the improvements, because when I played 1, it felt like I was playing the original game, but back in its hey. So I didn't notice its age, which is the best compliment I can give it. Like, it felt not modern, but it felt the same way I felt when I was playing it originally. Like, my rose-tinted glasses held up on 1, which is amazing, right?
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's a solid game.
It's a good game.
I think really it was just the combat system that sucked. So I'm so glad that they did not give us that again, because I think we all would have been like, we'll just skip to 2.
Yeah, no, the combat system is cleaned up enough to where it's playable. I think for someone who doesn't jive with 1, you can skip 1 easily because you have that whole webcomic that you can play before 2.
Yep.
And 2 really is the standout of this trilogy. And
yes.
God, immediately when I started playing 2, because I finished 1 recently and I got into 2, and I'm all the way, I actually just finished everybody's loyalty missions, including the DLC characters. So now I'm
so you're almost done.
Yeah, I'm mopping up side quest right now. You know, like the DLC, the Hammerhead stuff. That's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just the movement and the shooting, especially the stark contrast between 1 and 2, and then of course the re-release of it. It feels like butter. Oh my God,
yeah.
It feels so good.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and it feels so modern, and the shooting, I feel like Mass Effect 2, the Legendary Edition, could stand shoulder to shoulder with pretty much any other modern shooter out there right now. It feels that decent.
Damn.
The cover system is
That's
great.
High praise.
You snap to it really easily. I mean, again, occasionally, just because of its age, there may be some ledges you feel like you should be able to vault over that you can't, but I don't run into that very often. Maybe like once or twice in, 40 hours of gameplay so far, so it's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. I had a plan to go through 1, 2, and 3, and then go back through in Legendary mode. I'm aiming to do that, but again, games like Death's Door is coming across. Arceus is coming out pretty soon. We're going to talk about that in a bit, actually. There are other games that are coming out this year I know I'm either interested in playing or finishing. So Mass Effect is something I know I'm going to put down pretty soon. But for the moment and for the past few weeks, I've been having a fantastic time with it. And if it ever gets removed from Game Pass, I'm definitely just going to go out and buy it. Like that's one where no matter how much I've played of it, I know I need to own it because it's that good. So
it is. I mean, it's just, that's like a game you could just pick up whenever the feeling hits to talk to the Reaper Godchild, and I would. Should I spoiler alert that? I think it might be. I think the spoiler embargoes.
No, I think out of context, nobody knows what you're talking about. It's only a spoiler if you know what it is.
Right.
But just saying it doesn't mean anything.
That's true.
So
That's true.
You're okay.
Right.
We'll let
spoil up with that context.
All right. Well, I think it might be about time to get into gaming news. Now, we don't have music, unfortunately, like y'all fancy folks at Gamer Friends. So we're just gonna launch right into it. Gaming news.
All right.
Gaming news.
Well,
speaking of which,
it's your song.
So we got some Nintendo stuff. We got some Sony PlayStation stuff. We got some Xbox stuff. I'm splitting it all up again this week. Pokémon Legends Arceus. I don't know. I've heard it pronounced both ways, but at this point, it doesn't matter. The game leaked, and it is rough. As the paparazzi would say, it's rough.
Yes, the puppy. They would. They really would.
They would say it's rough. The screenshots have been coming up on Gamer Friends Discord, and I've seen it on Twitter and other places, and people are saying that the game is still fun. It does look bad, and I'm not like one that needs the graphics, but also the pedigree and the amount of money. Is it me, or does it feel like Nintendo is cutting a lot more corners than it used to lately?
So I cannot confidently speak on Pokemon games. I don't really play them like that. That being said, yes.
Okay.
Or, I'll say that's what it looks like to me, as some person who likes video games and does not make them for a living.
Mm-hmm.
What I am seeing, I am not particularly impressed with from that outside perspective. And I'll also just say a lot of what I'm seeing doesn't change much game to game. So
yeah,
I could see the non-differences, and I could see why Pokemon fans are not too happy right now. I get it.
It's a little rough graphically. The thing that attracted me to the game is that it is switching up the formula at least, which is something that Pokemon fans have been begging for.
Yeah.
And after I played the Diamond and Pearl remakes, and I talked about this at length, the amount of time that game wastes with its archaic turn-based battle system. I don't mind a good turn-based game, don't get me wrong, but there have been modern ways to shake it up. Bravely Default comes to mind, Octopath Traveler. There are ways to either make it engaging or speed some parts of it up to where it feels dynamic and the battles flow quickly. But every single thing that happens in a Pokemon battle in a traditional game has to be written out in text, and not instantly either. It's like slow crawled, even at the fast speed. It's a wild Pokemon showed up. It's a wild Pikachu. The wild Pikachu, or if it's like a Gyarados, the wild Gyarados' Intimidate ability lowers your Pokemon's attack. And then they show that animation of the attack lowering. It is raining. They show the animation of the rain falling down. And then if your Pokemon loves you so much, and they're looking back to make sure that you think he's a good boy, and I mean that literally happens. And then you get the menu comes up, and then you can make the thing, and then you hit the attack, and then the animation, and then thing. You did the attack. The attack is called this. The attack did this. The attack was this effective. It's just like, stop. I can see. Show don't tell. You know what I mean? Yeah. Can we take cinema rules and apply them to modern Pokemon, please? So with Legends, it looked like more of it was real time and there was less text box popping up. And that's what excited me about the game.
Right.
I have it on pre-order because if you get it directly from the Pokemon store, they give you an Arceus plushie. And I kind of wanted one. So
they got your ass.
They got me. And the email even came out like, hey, this is going to be late. You can cancel it if you want to. And I was like, ooh. Kind of want to, but I let myself not cancel it. So I'm gonna not only get my full priced Pokemon Legends Arceus game with my Arceus plushie, but I'm gonna get it like later than the release date because directly from the Pokemon company, their shipping is delayed. Thank you, COVID. So it's
that supply chain. It just fucked up.
It is. As a Pokemon mark, I would say I am beset by the challenges that all of that entails. Like it's just rough for us out here. Pray for the Pokemon fans, please.
Absolutely. Hands in prayer. Y'all really, if there's a gaming community that goes through it consistently, it is hands down it's the Pokemon community. And I'm just like sitting here every time like wondering like why don't they change literally anything. And I don't know, maybe they're just in like if it ain't broke don't fix it kind of mode.
We're making money. Yeah. And
it's just like they gonna play this they're gonna pre-order, they're gonna get that plushie, so make the same game again.
Yeah, I really
which I know this one is gonna be different, but yeah. I don't know, it doesn't sound like
yeah, they just didn't put 100% effort or production value into it, and all of us are like, why would you do that though? So, yeah, I don't know. One of these days I'll learn my lesson.
Sorry.
Hopefully. Or maybe they'll start making better games. Who knows? Whichever comes first.
For your sake, I hope the latter, but Yeah.
Now, there's a Nintendo Direct that is rumored for February 2022. So next month. There's a Reddit thread detailing all of the potential news and leaks, which I will leave in the show notes because I thought was actually a very interesting read. It's a culmination of a lot of the things that we've been talking about in recent episodes. One of the things being the development of a new Fire Emblem game, which I really think is Fire Emblem Warriors 2, and I hope it is. I love me some Musou games. Cedric, do you play Musou games at all, or like any kind of beat-em-ups or Warriors games, or... I know you like Sifu. Like, you're excited about Sifu. I know this.
I am really excited about Sifu, but it's funny that you say that out loud. This is really the only one of that genre that I've actually am excited to play and will play. Which is kind of weird.
Have you ever tried a Musou game?
No. Maybe I should do that before.
Yeah, I was going to say, I bet you would like them. You can probably get one pretty cheap for the Xbox, like one of the recent ones, but some of them go kind of hard, so you don't want to like just jump in blind, especially if you haven't played any of them. I think Dynasty Warriors 8 wouldn't be a bad game to try out.
Okay,
or
I'm writing it down.
Yeah, Dynasty Warriors 8, do you have a Nintendo Switch?
I do.
Okay, you could try either Persona 5 Strikers. I think they recently gave that away for PlayStation Plus. Or you could try Hyrule Warriors, because that has like Legend of Zelda characters, or Fire Emblem Warriors. I think those are all pretty solid Musou spin-offs, because obviously they're themed after their respective franchises. So
right,
yeah.
Thank you so much for the for the recommendations. Yeah. Who knew?
If you love laying the smackdown on enemies and just mindless fighting game, like beat 'em ups, like if you're I think Sifu is in the spirit of that. I think that you would probably dig these, to be honest. But let me know if you ever get into them.
I will. Hopefully one's on Game Pass.
All right. Well, let's get over to PlayStation stuff. So I just saw recently, and I love it when they do this, PlayStation released the 2021 stats for your PlayStation. So, like the hours you played, the game you most played, stuff like that. And they put up a wrapupplaystation.com link, and I went to it today, and the site is down. Woo woo!
Oh no!
I don't know why it's down.
That sucks because it's just like it kind of reminds me of the feeling when like Apple Music puts out their Wrapped like 3 weeks after everyone had their fun with Spotify, and it's just like, oh, who cares?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I've had my Spotify Wrapped, the personal Spotify and our podcast Spotify Wrapped, which was fun to see. And I've had a Nintendo Wrapped, and that was a good time to check to see how much Nintendo. Xbox doesn't do one of those, do they?
They don't. They kind of did it with the Xbox Museum thing this year for their 20th anniversary, which is funny. I was actually just checking that out today because I was like, oh, I never did this. I never looked at like all the games that I played and was I skipped. They like sneak in your personal Xbox achievements and shit within like the history of Xbox generally. So like it was like not fun for me because I was like, my account was connected to my Xbox One, not like, my first Xbox I ever got. So I was like, I don't care about this. So I just jumped to my shit and was like, oh, I play a lot of Apex Legends. I'm embarrassed.
I'm not surprised.
It was the top game 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
For good reason.
I'm sure. Yeah, for good reason. I was a little embarrassed. But yeah, no, they don't really do like a whole big, and I don't know. I don't care. I feel like the music and stuff is fun, but like the games, I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe there's like some stigma that I'm like holding on to. I'm just like, fuck, I play a lot of video games and don't want to be reminded how much time I've sat in my fucking gamer chair.
I used to be like that, but at this point, I have to admit that it's a part of me. I mean, I literally do a gaming podcast. I can look back at this wall full of physical media like it's a part of me. I've just embraced it at this point. But what's cool about these directs coming in subsequent years, like this year when I looked in the Nintendo Direct, is it showed last year's data compared with this year's data. So 2020, basically, I take all my 2020 Nintendo numbers and cut them in half. That was my 2021. Between the less amount of free time, because, everybody's kind of going back to work and getting in the flow of things, and getting a PS5 and then eventually Game Pass, other things and then other gaming systems just sliced all of my Nintendo playing in half. It was insane.
Oh.
It was literally like, if you did this for 100 hours in 2020 or 2020, you did it for 50 in 2021. It was that exact. I was like, wow, okay.
Damn.
Fair. Good to know. But yeah, I'm going to leave that link up in the show notes too in case it starts working and people want to check it out. And speaking of checking stuff out, I am one of the lucky people to have gotten a PS5 at launch, and I got it through...
You got yours at launch?
I got mine at launch. I did.
Wow.
Do you remember when PlayStation was offering people the chance to sign up to potentially pre-order through PlayStation?
Yes.
And how silly that was?
Yes.
I thought it was silly too, and I went ahead and did it because I figured it didn't hurt to do it, and I'm so glad I did because I was like everybody else. I was on bestbuy.com hitting refresh like, no! And I didn't think I was going to get one, or anytime soon. And then out of the blue, PlayStation just reached out to me by email, and they're like, hey, remember that pre-order you asked? It's available if you still want it. And I was like, I do.
Wow.
I do want that pre-order.
That's like the person who like decides to play the lottery on like a whim and is like, yeah, I won $1 million fucking now.
Yeah.
Yeah. To get it on launch, that's impressive. We have ours, but it definitely was not on launch.
Oh no. Yeah, we followed your guys' struggle closely. I mean, Derek had a struggle of his own, to be honest. We all did, But if you're still struggling out there, listeners, if you still don't have a PS5, and if you don't, I completely understand. It's been one of the hardest things to get. PlayStation Direct might have you covered. If you go to PlayStation.com right now, and again, I will leave this link in the show notes. Got a lot of links this episode, but there is a place where you can register with PlayStation to buy. And it's a way that they can sell PS5s directly to consumers and mitigate some of the scalping, because obviously you have to have a PlayStation account. They can monitor how many that you buy. Like, I doubt I can go and register and buy a second one. That would probably get the side eye. But if you haven't gotten one yet, I can tell you that they're a reliable seller. They sold me one. So there you go. It might be worth it.
Hey, I mean, get your PlayStation.
Yeah. And again, it doesn't hurt to sign up and register. Maybe you'll get that magical email. Maybe you'll get that golden ticket, and they'll invite you into the factory. Come with me. I'll stop.
I won't. I
don't want to trigger you.
I will refrain from. Yeah.
No. Well,
stop it right now.
I thought about you last week. So for those who don't listen to Gamer Friends, whenever Jordan starts to launch into a melody or a song, Cedric will cut like, no, copyright, no. Last week, Derek started talking about the opening theme to the newest season of Attack on Titan and how amazing it is. And I told him, I was like, oh, well, we're listening to it right now. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, I reached forward in time and told editing Mike to put the song in while we were talking. And I put the entire song at the end of our episode. And I probably painted a big old target on our back. We did get demonetized on YouTube, so I know that it got copyright struck.
They said, hold up, this sounds a little familiar.
Yeah. So I figure, it's better to ask forgiveness than permission. We'll see how that goes.
Hey, look, my joke always is they have to send a cease and desist first.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're big enough to be caught, then, like, that's a compliment within itself.
I was going to say, that would be an indication we made it. When I get my first C&D, then we made it. We made it.
That's kind of like how, because I came in through audio, through a lot of, like, hip-hop music and doing, in that kind of scene in Brooklyn when I was, living there. And that's like the tell, kind of. You're like, okay, well, that sample did not, or
didn't get
that
cleared.
one didn't get cleared, and they noticed. So I guess we're famous now.
Whoops. That's the indication.
That's the indication. All right, I guess we got to find a lawyer.
Oh man.
So hey, I get it.
Good times with copyright law. So
it's a mess.
We still got Xbox news. We got some big Xbox news. Before we get to the big boy, I've noticed recently, and I want to put everybody on notice, especially since we got a lot of retro gamers that listen to the show, Xbox is having a massive backwards compatibility sale right now. Like Asura's Wrath for like $5, Saints Row 2 for like $1.49. Like most games are like $5 and under, and there are a lot of classics that honestly you may have a physical copy, but just maybe don't want to disc swap, and you could go and buy yourself a digital copy right now and just have it ready. I'm legit going to get that Saints Row 2. I love Saints Row 2.
Oh, really?
It's like super villain simulator to me. I love it. I mean, you can literally like spray sewage on people's houses as a mission or throw somebody into a jet engine. I'm sold.
Wow. I have never gotten into Saints Row games ever, and I'm not entirely sure that will convince me. But hey, if I can get it for $2,
you should try it out.
Right now.
Saints Row really took a turn from 2 to 3. I think 3 is where it got. And again, some people disagree with me. I know we had Jed Schaefer was on the podcast recently, and he was like, I still like the goofiness in 3. But to me, 3 got so goofy. You know how when everything's goofy, nothing is goofy because there's no baseline.
Yeah.
Saints Row 2 was grounded enough in its admiration for the realism of Grand Theft Auto, but still trying to go its own way, that it hit like this perfect. At the time, it was Grand Theft Auto 4 and Saints Row 2. And in my opinion, I know this is probably not going to be a popular one, I had more fun with Saints Row 2 than Grand Theft Auto 4.
Whoa.
Yeah. Because you could literally
That's crazy.
Go up to anybody on the street, grab them, take your left hand and grab the back of their collar, take your right hand and grab their waistband and just toss them. You could just toss people into the street, into oncoming cars, off of buildings, like I said, into a jet engine, because that actually is a situation that can occur. There's all these fun side missions. There's an insurance fraud thing. There's a fight club. There's the whole, spraying sewage on people's houses. And that's when I was going up and down the street just with a septic tank in a truck, shooting shit onto people's houses, I realized I was like, I am the Penguin. I'm the Riddler. I'm the Joker. I am a low-rent super villain just doing ill shit for the sake of doing. That's what this game is.
Shooting shit on people's houses.
Just bringing down property value.
Sentence of the year. Oh my goodness. That's wild.
So yeah, for $1 and some change, you owe it to yourself to give it a shot if you haven't already.
All right. I might have to after that.
The creative character is
Beautiful
robust. I feel like I made the Joker as a creative character, and it actually worked. It was a really good creative character, especially for its time. So,
okay.
Tell me I'm wrong. Maybe it's rose-tinted glasses, but I'm gonna go on record right now. Saints Row 2, one of the greatest creative characters of all time. I said it.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Even better than Saints Row 3. All right, moving on. So, big news. Big. Microsoft. I think we woke up, what was it, Tuesday when we woke up to this news?
Yeah, I think so. Like, literally was woken up out of a beautiful deep slumber.
To the news that Microsoft bought ActivisionBlizzard for $95 a share, which equates to around, what was it, $68.7 billion? Billion dollars. There has never been, I mean, just to put it in perspective, I think they bought Bethesda for $8 billion, and that was considered huge at the time.
Yeah.
Dude.
We gotta get rid of capitalism, man. Like, it's it's officially gone too far.
We can have a whole nother podcast about the effects of late stage capitalism and how it's destroying society. And we can all agree that it is. But there's so much to unpack here. Now, one of the gamer friends, Jack, on your guys' Discord, actually found a Reddit thread of a hero, I would say, that has compiled all the information that we know so far and is continuing to update it. And guess what? I will leave that link in the show notes.
Just these show notes are stacked.
Stacked with links, baby. So, but what he had mentioned is some of our concerns. So, we were all talking on the Discord about like Bobby Kotick and, like the sexual harassment and everything. And to me, I was literally talking about Phil Spencer's NYT interview last week. And I was giving him crap about how he backpedaled his comments on Activision Blizzard, and now I kind of get it. I also don't think it's a coincidence that Microsoft announced its board-initiated review of sexual harassment and gender discrimination policies mere days before announcing this transaction. Like, they're trying to get their ducks in a row, right?
Yep. I mean, especially to like announce that news in the middle of the week when it would be a huge news item. It actually kind of reminds me of when like Spotify bought Gimlet, and that news broke at like Friday at like 5. Like no one was checking for that unless you were me. You were wondering if you're still gonna have a job, which I did.
Good.
But yeah, no, thank God. But yeah, no, I mean, all this shit is just it's intentional.
Yeah.
And
it's going to be going on for a few years, this acquisition. So, I mean, there's a lot of speculation, and I get it. You want to read the tea leaves, but there's a lot that's up in the air that we just don't know. And there's a lot of evidence of Microsoft trying to get ahead of a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we already talked about them announcing the discrimination policies because they know that people they would bring up issue about Activision Blizzard's current, cultural and legal problems that they're working with. And it's probably not a coincidence that Xbox has probably been sitting on this for a while and they decided to go ahead and strike while the iron was hot, so to speak.
Yeah, I think there was I think maybe it was a Bloomberg article that came out that basically asserts it's like, yeah, because of all the shit that they've been going through, they were just like, well, we could make all your problems go away with $70 billion. What do you say?
Yeah.
And like, why would you say no to that? Your company is literally about to fall apart.
Unfortunately, it gives Bobby Kotick the happy ending he does not deserve. But again, late stage capitalism. We can keep coming back to that. Well,
we really could. He got like the Game of Thrones ending that no one wanted him to have.
Yeah.
So
exactly. I really wanted to get torn apart by dogs. It just wasn't in the cards. Now, gamer friend Jack, he got a little guff because he was saying that Sony and Tencent have more money than Microsoft. And they don't, but I think I know where he was coming from, because if you look at just their gaming division, it's a claim that Microsoft has recently tried to make. They went out of their way to say that they will now be the third largest, quote, gaming company by revenue after Tencent and Sony. And they're mentioning that importantly to kind of not exactly dog whistle, but signal to regulators, hey, I know you're concerned about our impact on the gaming market, but I mean, Sony's still ahead of us because gaming company.
So it can't be that bad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, look.
They're way richer.
They're way richer, and every money is going to be up in their shit up until this thing is done. I mean, I still think it's going to happen, but they're not going to have a fun time, which is how it should be. But yeah.
I mean, the concern is real because they don't really disclose how much money they make from their gaming, and they're trying to put up Tencent and Sony as competitors. But the thing is, okay, Tencent is more of a mobile market, and you could argue that King comes along with the deal with ActivisionBlizzard, but ActivisionBlizzard, like 70% of their revenue is from their regular, like their console and PC games, only about 30% from King, right?
Right.
So they're going right past the mobile market. And with Sony, they're skipping the China domestic market too, I should say, because they don't really have much of a presence there either. So they're kind of jumping past major markets represented by name-dropping Tencent and Sony to carve out their own huge fiefdom in the gaming space. And I think that's what regulators are going to be looking at. Again, like you said, I think the deal's going to go through ultimately, but maybe they're trying to get ahead of having to spend too much money trying to get, because we buy politicians in this country. It's what we do. So maybe they're just trying to save themselves some money in the long run. Who knows?
It's their business strategy. So.
Yeah. And the other big concern for gamers, of course, is the fact that all of these franchises historically have had big homes on the competing consoles. I mean, look at Call of Duty. Everybody that plays Call of Duty on PlayStation is probably sweating bullets right now.
Yeah.
They've said that they don't want to break up the communities, and they've made a lot of platitudes. That really means shit to me. We've seen what they've done with Bethesda. I think anything existing that already has contracts drawn up for dropping on other consoles, they'll probably let that go through. But I think...
Yep, and then after that, it's, that's how they do it. It's like business as usual. Like, everything's fine. Until exactly. Yeah. And then,
So, I don't know. Man, Sony is going to have to, pull a miracle with Spartacus at this point.
Maybe they have to buy Nintendo now. Let me stop.
Yeah, right? Like, Japan just has to solidify because America's become too big. And, I mean... Oh, man, it's the Disney thing all over again. I'm excited because if anybody was going to buy Activision Blizzard, I am glad that it was Xbox because I feel like they play with others better. They share with Nintendo and they are open to cross-platform this or that. Sony likes to take their ball and go home, right?
They
do. If anybody was going to buy them, I am kind of glad it was Xbox. But again, Xbox is so huge. And, this is the snowball starting to roll down the hill, so to speak, that could tip the balance to where we're not going to get that healthy competition, and then we could be looking at some issues down the road. So, hard to say now, but huge news either way you look at it. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to, unfortunately, be talking about this one for a while. So, can't wait for the developments.
No. I'm looking forward to hearing you guys talking about it. I know we're probably going to be bringing it up from time to time because developments are going to occur. This is going to be a years-long process.
Yeah.
For sure. This is major. All right. Well, that about covers it for gaming news. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey, Cedric.
Absolutely. This has been great. Just chilling at home,
hanging out,
talking.
That's right,
hanging out.
So I got one question for you this week, my good friend, as my honorary special co-host this week. What you feeling?
What am I feeling? I am feeling a new show, new to me.
Okay.
That I've been watching. Big Nick, excuse me, don't want to use his government name here on them. Has introduced me to Shameless. Have you watched that one?
I have seen in passing. My wife has seen it all the way through, and she's watched a bunch of it. She's binged a bunch of it, so I am familiar with the characters, their situation, their proclivities, but I could not tell you their story and how it ends up, if that makes sense.
It is so good. It's all on Netflix. I highly recommend. And now this is me saying this in the middle of season. I think we actually just started season 4 out of 11 seasons.
Oh wow!
I know it's
seasons,
long.
my
It's
God.
a lot. Oh my God, it's so much. Each episode is like an hour. It's so much TV.
Then babies grow up and have babies.
It's like I was actually upset the other day because I was like, we were watching it because like it's, some of the kids grow up more and then you start seeing them have sex more on the show, and I was like, oh fuck, I want to see eventually this 14-year-old become 18 and start having sex on this stupid show.
It's gonna be weird.
And I'm really upset. I'm so upset about it.
Yeah.
But I have not finished it. I'm not even halfway through. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It is good. It is really, really, like, I'm talking like some of the best TV I've ever watched. Like, I'm talking like Breaking Bad level good. I'm talking Game of Thrones first 6 seasons good. I'm talking Community good. It's just really good. I think it's one of the first shows that I've watched in a long, long time that has some interesting things to say about class.
Mm-hmm.
And not in like the, like, how do I mean this in the least, maybe I guess finger wagging way possible, but not in like the, coastal elite writing about class kind of thing. It's like, here's a little quip here, here's a little joke there. It's I think exceptionally well done. And I'm like, wow, like, I'm so happy that I can still be surprised by TV in this way. Because I've been watching a lot of it. Mm-hmm. Shout out to COVID. It's funny too because it's a medium that I don't really engage with as heavily as podcasts or music or video games.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
In a way that for most of my life, but now I'm definitely
really
watching
kicked
a
up
lot
recently,
more TV.
hasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Same with me. I find myself amazed at the number of TV shows that I'm intimately involved with and want to discuss on a regular basis. And I can look back a mere few years ago, and this was just not. I wasn't a TV guy,
No,
I get you.
No, not at all.
I get you.
It's like weird. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like
wild.
watching TV.
Yeah.
Like dinner is set. There's not a discussion. You're setting it up to watch the next episode of Shameless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But no, it's been really great, and it definitely is. Just watching it is really nice, and then also just like thinking about like, oh wow, like this is like not inspiring is not the word, but it's like wow, people can do really cool and interesting things, and say really cool and interesting things, and like this story that like you're like doesn't make sense for it to be as good as it is, So yeah, that's what I've been into. It's been great. It's been a good experience.
Great. Well, I haven't been into a whole lot recently. I think I've just been eagerly anticipating this birthday and these Lego sets, to be honest. But
that's right.
I did catch there was this movie that was being advertised on Netflix called The House, and
I've heard about this.
It looks to be an anthology, animated, 3 different directors, 3 different animation styles. It looks like mostly stop motion though, or claymation.
Yeah.
I watched the first of 3 stories, and just the characters themselves are kind of creepy. They remind me, because their faces are kind of scrunched in the middle of their heads, so they remind me of the characters from Rick and Morty, the Little Bits commercial. Little Bits. Have you ever seen that?
I have.
Yeah.
I am a reluctant Rick and Morty fan. I'll just say that.
Yeah, if you can separate yourself from the pretentiousness of the fandom itself, the show, isolated in a vacuum, is good. I can admit that. But I don't go around telling people I'm a Rick and Morty fan, probably for a similar reason to the apprehension that you just displayed. So... But hey, if you want a rational person to geek out about with Rick and Morty, my door is always open. I enjoy the show as well.
Good to know.
But yeah, it wasn't super like gruesome and like jump scary, but it definitely like there's a bit of, I don't want to say like cosmic horror, but like maybe psychological horror is a better way to phrase it. The framing, the music, the animation itself, the story that's being told, like it's very creepy. I don't want to say it's a devil movie. Or even devil adjacent, because I don't really know like where the line draws. But there's definitely, like, there's foul play. There's some fantastical MC Escher bullshit going on in that first, because that's when they build the house, you know, the titular house is in that first story. And so the mystery behind it is probably something that'll unveil the rest of the movie. But just that first section, I was like, ooh, this is kind of good. So I'm excited to check out the second and third story in that little anthology that they released. And I like these little weird-ass random movies that Netflix has been dropping here and there. It's good stuff. That's what I'm feeling.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like they're doing what they need to do over there, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, like, weird to see it happening because you're like, oh, yeah. Especially, like, now, because, like, theaters are kind of, well, for me anyway, they're kind of not a thing right now.
Thank you, COVID.
Shout out to COVID.
Shout out to COVID. That's the name of the episode. Shout out to COVID. I don't want to do that.
Shout out COVID. Shout
That's
out
a different
Mario.
kind of flag. One of our least listened to episodes, I think, initially was The Rock got that Rona, y'all. I was like, I'm not putting Corona in any more titles.
That's fair. That's totally fair. You gotta hook them in. Can't do it with
Yeah.
COVID. But yeah, no, I mean, look, if anyone's been poised or put in the right position to really, quote unquote, benefit from these trying times, it was Netflix, and this is a really good shit on there. So I did hear about the house, and I will definitely be checking that one out soon.
Yeah. Let me know what you think. Again, especially since you and Jordan are traditionally fans of horror and horror adjacent things. Again, there's no gore. There's nothing gross in it. There's no jump scares, but it is creepy. So, all right. Well, I think that's a show. So we're going to take a quick break to give it up for the sponsor, but don't change that dial because we'll be right back to let you know where you can find more of Cedric and more of us. Stay tuned. All right. And we're back. Cedric,
Woo-woo.
AudioNerd64, my gamer friend.
Aw.
The folks out there may be wondering, where can we hear more of you? And they should be wondering, because damn it, Gamer Friends is a good show. So where can they find you at?
Oh, thank you. Well, wherever you are listening right now, you can find Gamer Friends on your podcast app of choice. Just search us up, and we'll be there. Spotify, Apple Music, or Apple Podcast, whatever the fuck they're calling it these days. Stitcher, blah, blah, blah. You know, all the apps. Wherever you can find podcasts, you can find us. And if you need help navigating that, just go to our website, gamerfriendspodcast.com. There's plenty of links.
Excellent. All right, and don't forget, listeners, we upload new episodes to our hub at anchor.fm/player2 is enter the pod every single Sunday. But our podcast is also available on other platforms, including Breaker, Google Podcast, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And you can find us on all the social medias, TikTok.com/@player2 is enter the pod, Facebook.com/player2 is enter the pod, YouTube, player2 is enter the podcast. Subscribe, follow, like, comment, share. It really helps us out. Subscribe, like, follow, rate, and share to the Gamer Friends. Do this for us. If you really want to help us out, we got a Patreon, and I believe Gamer Friends has a Patreon as well. So head on over to patreon.com/player2 is enter the pod, or patreon.com/gamerfriends, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm 99% sure that that's what it is.
It's linked on the website, guys. I'll put it in the show notes. Everything's in the show notes.
Everything is in the show notes.
Contact us there. Contact us via social media, or you can email us directly at mcpaperstacks@gmail.com. If you have listener questions, guest suggestions, feedback, etc., we would love to hear from you, and that's a show. I'd like to thank my special guest co-host for coming in at the 11th hour to help me out, AudioNerd64.
Woo woo!
You
It's been
are
fun.
a scholar and a gentleman. Not all heroes wear capes. Sometimes they wear headphones. I appreciate you.
That's a good one. I might have to steal that.
All right. And to the listeners out there, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will see you next week. Take care. Goodbye.